Today, we can see very clearly that there is a lot of efforts from the Lagos axis to colonize this part of the country. Today, Lagos wouldn't allow us to choose our area. Lagos has to come to the center of Kano to put their own area at the center of the graveyard.
How tables turn. The same Tinubu and people from Lagos Kwankwaso is accusing of trying to colonize people in Kano and northern Nigeria were the ones that came to him to lobby him to make Sanusi the emir of Kano just to get back at Jonathan at the time. Despite the fact that he wasn't even qualified, the kingmakers in Kano didn't even select him. He didn't make up to first third or so at the time, but he agreed. Also, despite the fact that he wasn't in talking terms with Sanusi at the time, he agreed just for politics. Anyway, that's how tables turn in Nigerian politics or in politics in general. Whether you feel that Kwankwaso is just being performative, that he's in bed with Tinubu because of the way he rushed to France to congratulate Tinubu after the presidential election, many people still believe that Kwankwaso worked for APC during the presidential election last year, that he made sure that he was in the contest just to reduce the votes of Atiku Abubakar. While that might seem plausible, it doesn't paint the full picture. Kwankwaso might have contested that election out of his ego to prove a point that he has support, that he can pull a crowd. Anyway, no matter what anyone believes or what Kwankwaso did in the past with the so-called Lagos people, it still doesn't negate the fact that he's telling the truth. The federal government has no business whatsoever getting involved in a chieftaincy tussle in a state like Kano. It is a state affair. The federal government has no business providing security for a deposed emir who was lawfully deposed by the state assembly and the government of Kano state. They have no business getting involved in the court matters concerning a state affair, concerning a deposed emir. It's so shameful how they have brought governance so low. People shouldn't be focusing on the messenger, rather they should focus on the message. That's the playbook of the current administration. They always target messengers. They always remind them of their past, what they did, what are they going to do differently. All that narrative to divert attention. Just like the narrative they are spreading against Obasanjo because he berated Tinubu and called for the sack of INEC chairman Mahmood Yakubu and all other INEC officials and all people that were involved in the electoral coup and judicial coup in last year's election. Spreading the age-long false narrative that Obasanjo wasted $16 billion on power generation and we've got nothing to show for it. When a few months ago, the power minister Adelabo praised Obasanjo that it was $8 billion that they spent, and it is because of the infrastructure provided that Nigeria is surviving today on the measly 5,000 megawatts power generation. Obasanjo is not a saint, no one is, but we can never deny his performance in office, especially on Nigeria's economy. Can the current administration beat him? Even 8 years of Buhari cannot beat his 1 year performance in office. Yes, as you can see on the chart, he delivered consistent growth in Nigeria's economy at the time. Are we going to talk about debt forgiveness that he achieved to the tune of about $30 billion? No one has ever done that in Nigeria's history. Compare that to Buhari and the calamity we have now. Both of them combined have borrowed more than that amount, so there's no comparison whatsoever. Back to Kwankwaso, the truth is, whether you like it or not, whether what he's saying is correct, whether he's pushing it too far or a stretch, what everyone must focus on is that in order for Nigerians to take back power from APC, they have to match them propaganda for propaganda. They have to match them in every way possible. If Tinubu were to be the one in opposition today, he will never allow people in power to rest. All the failings of the administration will be at the front burner. He will be sponsoring people from his party, from everywhere, to go to TV stations, radio stations, and be discussing all the failings of the administration. They will be discussing the high cost of petrol, high cost of living, insecurity, everything like he did under Goodluck Jonathan.
Today, mark the first warning signal to INEC.
So for people who don't support Tinubu but are very quick to condemn someone that criticizes him, reminding him of his past, what he did with Tinubu in the past, you are not doing yourself a favor. Anyone that is criticizing the current administration should be your friend, not your enemy. That's the only way to achieve it. The opposition must unite wherever you belong. Once you are not with the current administration, everyone that is against them should be seen as one. Now, coming to Kwankwaso's political future, he knows that even if he decomes to APC today, he will never have a shot at the presidency in 2031. That's why he's lobbying Peter Obi. He knows it is his brightest chance of having a shot at the presidency. He's not even popular in the north, only around Kano State. Even if he decides to contest alone like he did in 2023, he wouldn't stand any chance, even in a free and fair election. And working with Atiku will be worse because he will wait for 16 years. If he works for Atiku and he eventually wins the presidency, he's most likely to spend 8 years in power, after which presidency will go to south and spend another possible 8 years. So he will have to wait for 16 years. How many years is he going to be at the end of 16 years? So as you can see, after the lessons everyone learned in 2023 presidential election, it seems that Kwankwaso needs Obi more than Obi needs him right now, despite the fact that he couldn't overcome his ego when he was approached to deputize Peter Obi before the presidential election. And no matter how you see it, Kwankwaso will be bringing more than 1 million votes if he ever works with Peter Obi. The question now is he going to work as the vice presidential candidate, or is he going to play another role in the merger that will possibly face APC in 2027? It seems that Atiku Abubakar and PDP will not be part of that merger because Atiku is positioning himself. He's seeing an opportunity for him. He's feeling that he can win, that this is his last chance to contest the presidency. That's why you see many of his supporters, instead of focusing on Tinubu's failures and APC, they focus on Peter Obi, regurgitating the old narrative that Peter Obi and Labour Party are the reason Tinubu is in power today, when it wasn't Peter Obi or Labour Party that switched off the IRF during the presidential election. They even went to court, they were mocked by the justices. On the other hand, they forget the fact that Atiku Abubakar wanted to succeed a northerner in Muhammadu Buhari. It has never happened that a northerner will be stepping down from power and another northerner in a democracy will be dreaming of succeeding him in the guise that, the Northeast have never had a shot at the presidency. It is our turn if we have to do by turn. So it's most likely that Atiku Abubakar and PDP will not be part of any future merger against APC, unless it changes in the future, or maybe Obasanjo plays a role to call them to order. It seems they're only interested in what they can gain, not the collective gain of all Nigerians. And Obasanjo seems to be playing the role of opposition despite no longer being in power. The opposition is supposed to be holding the current administration to account, making sure they capitalize on their failures, but they are not doing it. It is time to unite against the common enemy of Nigerians. They need to come out and defend Nigerians because Nigerians have been defeated both psychologically and physically. The main opposition figures don't even need to show up in a rally or lead a protest. They can sponsor it. There's nothing wrong in sponsoring a protest or calling for one. They did it. Tinubu and his associates, when they were in opposition, they called protests. They led protests, not only calling, they were at the forefront. As you can see in this video, they did everything within the law. And the government at the time, Goodluck Jonathan's administration, permitted them. They didn't prosecute anyone. They didn't persecute anyone. So they should do something fast. If they continue rallying Nigerians and all the failures of the current administration are laid bare, they become main discussions in the polity, Nigerians will have more confidence to be coming out to protest, to demand for their rights, to demand for good governance. And if we go into an election with that kind of confidence, victory will be assured. Yes, many people might be saying they need to be calling for electoral reforms like Obasanjo did. They need to be calling for judicial reforms also. But remember that Buhari came to power in 2015 without electoral reforms. He ran on all the existing laws at the time and he was able to defeat Goodluck Jonathan. So winning is possible, only that Nigerians must take it as if their lives depend on it. They must match APC with whatever they bring to the table. They must match them propaganda for propaganda, rigging for rigging, narrative for narrative. They must make sure that the votes count at their polling unit. From there, they will escort the electoral officers to the nearest collation center, whether it is the ward, local government, or the state. From there to the federal. If Nigerians keep the vigil and make sure that their votes are not stolen again, no one will steal their votes. These votes are stolen through people. They use police, they use thugs, they use INEC officials to intimidate Nigerians to rig elections. But if Nigerians make it clear to them that no one is going to tolerate any rigging or writing of results, you will see them behave themselves, because they will need to be alive in order to enjoy whatever they have taken, whatever bribe they have received to work for the politicians, which will never be enough for 4 years that the politicians will destroy their lives. Thanks for watching.